Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and should we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where we still don't know if anyone's moved into the empty lot yet in Fawnhollow. You know, it's starting to get to a point where I'm just like, maybe no one ever wants to move into Fawnhollow again. We've seen, like, once you've moved into Fawnhollow, you can very rarely leave. Claude was the last one to escape and will probably be the only one to escape unless someone who is not Fawn moves in. So it's sort of just like some sort of nightmare scenario going on. This is Fawnhollow's a fabled, legendary island that people talk about, which you'll never escape from. So anyway, hello everyone. That's a weird start. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 5:20 p.m. on Tuesday, September 28th, 2021. We're nearly at the end of September, nearly going on into October, where I suppose the spooky season will start. Kind of. It's like, isn't it kind of weird that Halloween gets celebrated for like an entire month? Kind of. Like, maybe not really, but it's sort of like, there's not many events which surprisingly happen around like September, that sort of thing, apart from school starting, I suppose, but that's not, you know, that exciting for most people. My dear Fabu, way more surprise gifts. So I've been thinking we should be hanging out way more. Maybe sending you surprise gifts isn't the most efficient way to tell you, but what can I say? You deserve extra special treatment. Until next time, Audie. Is that? I can't tell if these are new dialogue, letters. Or not, if it's just been ages since I've seen them. We don't have a visitor staying up campsite. Do we have? Someone is actually moving in. Who's it going to be? Tank! I've had Tank before. He is a jock rhino. I've had him on my Wild World. He's right. Phoebe clearly having a lot of fun. Obviously not Fauna, who would be absolutely optimal, but you know, that was like a pretty low percentage chance of happening in the first place, so we can't be too surprised it didn't. But as per usual, we'll befriend Tank and then we'll send him on his merry way. Eventually. As we slowly collect up photos. Well, I say we're collecting up photos, we're not really collecting up photos because if we eventually get Fauna, we're not going to be able to rotate out any of our villages to be able to collect them. Maybe, future update, we allowed more villages. What? That'd be crazy. But of course we'll have to see. Until then, we really got no way to actually properly know. Let us... Is there any new Nook shopping items? I feel like I haven't checked in quite a while. Grape Harvest. So what I've been up to today? Not much of interest, really. I suppose most significantly, I watched a few more episodes of My Hero Academia. So, well, not just today, but also like going a few days back. What episode am I up to now? I am up to season 4, episode... I don't know, but it's just before the school festival. At least the next episode's called like Start of School Festival, which sounds kind of fun. I mean, like, I'm trying to think of like school fairs and stuff we've had back in school. Like, obviously the ones in the anime is going to be different because it's going to be like what happened through Japan. No, wait, hold on. This is a really weird way of phrasing it. It's going to be like what's typical for a Japanese school rather than necessarily a British school. We didn't really... We have some school fairs. The most common ones is from both my primary schools and my secondary schools. We had Christmas fairs, which is just like... I mean, it's kind of just like what it sounds like, I suppose. Wait, what was that? It's just during Christmas time, the school holds a fair, and then in that fair you can kind of like do stuff. it's not the most exciting thing in the world. It's sort of like as you expect any sort of school run fair to be, except for it's not really student run. It's mostly run by parents of students, I guess. Perhaps there's a big expectation to let students run the entire thing, but you know, if they do it in Japan, then clearly maybe British children are just sort of lacking. And I say that not with vitriol to British students. I say that being one, or had being one myself. So I don't know, or maybe it's not quite the way it appears in anime, and maybe I shouldn't judge those sort of things based off just what I've seen from animated cartoons from Japan. But yeah, like these fair sort of things, it's always interesting how they're always very student run in these sort of shows. And I always think back to like when if I was around that age, okay, you know, high school. What age is that? I think that's like 16 or something. Could we run a decent fair? Maybe we could run an okay fair. I don't think we'd run a particularly amazing one or anything like that. There's a weird order of things we're going to do. We're actually going to go find out a hot item and put stuff away first, because I think we have too much stuff in our inventory. But like the scale that they do things on, half standard umbrella stand. I don't even remember what the standard umbrella stand recipe is. I don't know if we've ever made it. Half is going to be quite difficult to make. I think I said like a load of clay in a campfire or something, isn't it? Standard umbrella stand. Standard umbrella stand. If only there was a way to search. I don't even know what it looks like. Is the difficult part? Oh, is this it? Iron nuggets. Okay. Well, there we go. Well, we don't need to favourite it. We can just hold on to it. I forget, we should use this pipe to go inside a bit more often. A little bit faster, isn't it? But yeah, like student run stores. It's normally like, I'm trying to think what we had. Like, one of the years we, in my school, we had like a Scalextrics track. Or like someone who owned a Scalextrics track would come and you can pay some money to race it for a bit, I suppose. I'm trying to think what else. Most of the time it's just people are selling things. Actually, now I think about it, back in primary school we did do this like Christmas, a student run Christmas fair thing. It's not like necessarily on the scale that we like. The British ones normally I don't know if it's standard or not for other countries, but it's basically you invite everyone who's potentially the school is just like open up on a weekend or something, and anyone comes in. Normally it would be like if you go to the school, your family will pop in for like a couple of hours or leave, or maybe you yourself personally will. It's, you know, kind of like whatever, you just sort of hang out for a while. And normally it's like parents of the students who run stores. Normally there's things like cake sales. I'm trying to think what to call it. I mean, it's not quite a cake sale, but you know, there's things you could buy. Other people come in, like I'm sure they rent out some like food trucks or something to come in and provide food and catering services. And other like people run like games and activities for you to do. It's all good fun. But I remember back in primary school we had this opportunity when we were in year 6, so that would make me 11. To do our own like student run one, where it was just us 30 students just set up in like our hall, and we ran it for basically all the years. Is it all the years younger than us? I think so. Like we did it for the entire day, and from like 1 hour, and for 1 hour each of the classes from year 1, or maybe reception, which is about, let me think. how old a reception is? 4 to 5, all the way up to year 5, it would be like 9 to 10, I think. Do we need to chop down a tree? I didn't pay attention. Chop down a tree, talk to people, buy some things. It's got a text message. Is this one of significance? And we're back into it. Sorry, no, I was reading that text and it gave me a little bit of a scare for a second. It wasn't actually something important. And don't you worry, it's basically some admin stuff, and I thought some details were different. And I was like, what? But it was all good. Yeah, okay, what are we doing? Do I need to chop down a tree? That's what I was checking. That seems familiar. I do need to chop down a tree. Okay, let's chop down a tree, and then we'll go hunting forever who's got a recipe for Diddy. But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, like fairs and that sort of thing. Oh yeah, we ran one for the years below us, so of course there's nothing or too big. We like prepared them like the weeks before or something. I can't remember why we did this. Maybe it was to like teach us year 6s like a responsibility and things like that. We had a few different stores, like we split up into teams, and we'd all tackle like one thing or another. Did we do this in year 6? I'm actually doubting myself or what age I was when we did this. I think it was in year 6, but I can't quite recall exactly. And we all split up into teams, and we did like ran different stores. Like obviously because we were younger kids at some point, we attended the older kids versions of the stores at the same time as previously, and we like took some ideas from them. And like, you know, there's a regular things, like there's a stores where you can buy like arts and crafts and sort of things. Like one of the things where you have like a load of jelly beans in a jar, and like you had to guess how many of them, and whoever counted that many will win that amount. Yeah, and I remember I was on a team with some of my friends. Maybe we could choose a team, so I can't remember. And I was like, we should do something unique which hasn't been done before, something that's pretty cool, and then like a guessing game. And I remember the one we did was called Guess Your Team. But that, I gotta say, I came up with. I don't know why I'm flaunting this, like who cares? But it's very on brand for me. It was Guess the Teacher's Teddy Bear, because, you know, I love my teddy bears and all that sort of thing. yeah, it was called Guess a Teacher's Teddy Bear, where basically we just asked a load of teachers, hey, could you, if you still have your childhood teddy bear, could you give it to us? Lend it to us for a day or something. So we got like a load of teachers to give them like soft cuddly toys that they had from when they were younger, and then we like put them up in the store, labeled each one, not like directly, we put like a little sign in front of it, and then we put like a list of teachers down, and all the students had to try and match them up, and it was always a good fun, because essentially, like, it's completely random. Like, kids don't, I suppose, aren't so aware of it, but kids, you know, basically don't know anything about your teachers, to be honest. Only like what the teachers choose to show you, and that's kind of how it should be, you know. They're not meant to have like a much, I mean, they should have like a deep dynamic on one built out of trust of that sort of thing, but it shouldn't be expected that, you know, kids know their teachers personally well, or like even you how they were as kids. That's a little bit far reaching for primary school time, I think, but yeah, so it's essentially just random guessing, but you'd be surprised at how many other kids like came at it with a strategy. So like, oh, yeah, this teacher, you know, she really, doesn't she say she likes elephants at one point? So maybe she had an elephant when she was a child or something, about something like that. And you know, it was very fun to listen to their conversations of that sort of thing. Because especially you know, hear over, it'd be like, oh, remember when we went on that field trip and this teacher like petted the sheep or something. This little lamb has got to be hers. And you know, of course, since I'm one running the store with some other people, I'm just like, haha, how wrong you are. I can't remember how we established like how rewards were like given out at the end of that sort of thing. I think what happened, oh, we forgot to put that down, was whoever got the closest to most being correct, we like went round to their classrooms and gave them sweets or something later. But for some reason, I didn't work on with a team for that one. Like, I didn't work with them marking all of them the records of who got what. Did I not actually make that item? Oh, I did make it, I just didn't sell it. For some reason, we had another group do a store which was like guess how many jelly beans are 4,500? What the heck? You sold out for so much. How many jelly beans in the jar? What like, you know, there's like a name for that sort of thing, I'm sure. For some reason, I worked on that, on marking and trying to find out who got the closest score in that. And I remember, I wasn't even on this team, so I don't know why I did it, but I went to go deliver the prize to the person who won. Like, there was, if I remember, there was 100 jelly beans, and they had a small jar for the younger years and a bigger jar for the older years, and I went to go deliver the smaller jar one. So I like went into there. I remember they were having an IT lesson, so they were in the computer room. Knock, knock, knock. Excuse me, miss, I'm not going to say a name. Is this person here right now? Because they won the thing. You know, they were like, oh, congratulations. How much did you guess? It was like, there were 100 beans in this jar, and they guessed 99 or something like that. And they were like one off, basically. And they were like, and then something very frightening happened where the teacher went, hang on. Didn't this other classmate also guess that number exactly? Like, didn't they say 100 as their guess instead of 99? And I was like, huh? Did they? It's like it wasn't on any of the sheets there. And then it's because, you know, this teacher had a conversation asking what all the kids guessed. There were just these few random kids, and one of them was the one that she spoke to. They guessed 99 instead of 100 or whatever. And they got spot on how many jelly beans were in that jar. I think I might have been on that team because I was good at maths. They were like, oh, you know, dear, you should do this because you'll be fast at counting. Sorry, that's just a bit of a tangent. That's probably why I ended up working with them. I can't remember. So I was like, you know, at the time, internally, I was like, this is bad. This is really bad. You know, we've given them a false hope that this kid had just won, and then now we're going to take it away from them immediately. And also, this other kid might be upset because they maybe did or maybe didn't submit an answer which is actually spot on. So I'm like, hang on with me. So, you know, diplomatically walked back, went, okay, one of the students said that they did 100, but it wasn't on like any of the sheets. So then cue me pouring through all of the sheets and then I also checked the sheets for the large jar guesses just in case, and lo and behold, there was their guess. One of the people running the thing wrote the answer on the wrong piece of paper, so I had to go back and profusely apologise to this other kid, being like, sorry, this can't be your jar of candy, it's actually this guy's jar of candy, because he actually got the guess spot on. And I remember the teacher was very nice nice about it as well. But you can tell she was just like these year 6 kids, like about incompetence and that sort of thing. She was like, oh, you know, you also won this prize from a different store or whatever, so, you know, let this other kid have it. To be fair, the kid who got the jar of candy taken away from him was also quite nice, just sort of like nodding nicely and that sort of thing. And I was like, oh, I feel really bad. I'd give you both jars if I could, but yeah, again, I was like an 11-year-old, so I didn't have like all that much candy on me. So that was a bit mortifying. I don't even know why that happened, because I didn't work on... I don't think I was with that group in the first place. Or was I with that group? Hold on. I might have suggested the idea, but I might not have ended up working with that group. I might have been one of the people... Oh, you know what? I think I might have been one of the people who just had to, like, walk around the place. Like, whenever one of the groups was, like, running low on money or change or something, I'd go up to them and supply them with more money, I think. And just basically helped around. That might have been what I did. I can't quite recall. But anyway, we did other stuff. Like, I remember one of our stores, we had an arts and crafts store. It was a pom-pom stall, which is bizarre. If you don't know what pom-poms are, the pom-poms I'm talking about are like the arts and crafts ones where you get like 2 rings, you stick them together, you make them out of card or paper or whatever, and you wrap a load of wool around them, and then you get some scissors in between the 2 rings and slice it up, and then get some string and tie it up, and then you get like this really big fluffy wool board. I remember I was I created a load of pom-poms for that. Were they any good? No, because at that time, like, I sort of just... my artistic expression hadn't really honed in itself, is perhaps a nice way I'd put it. My artistic expression was, I don't know, to be honest. Very, very strange. So a lot of the ones I made were very strangely coloured, from what I recall. I remember some of the other girls were making some, and I was like, oh, these are really pretty ones, and I actually ended up buying one of them, I remember, because I thought it was really pretty. I remember to the boys in my class, like, tried to make this really big one. They like, because if you don't know about these pom-poms, is basically, it's just like a load of wool, really short wool strands cut and then like tied together to make it sort of puff out. And the fact that they're so densely populated is what makes deep sea creatures customize selling things. Is what makes it really give it that spherical shape. They tried to make this really big one, because normally ones we had were like the diameter of the circle, the rings go up to like I don't know, like 10 centimeters at max. That's probably even too big. But then these 2 boys in our class was like, we're gonna make a big mega one. So they got like an A3 piece of card or whatever, and made out 2 rings, and it was huge. It was like 30 centimeters in diameter or something. To try and make this absolutely mega pom-pom, and they got like this giant... They took one of the yarn balls and then like wrapped around. They filled up the entire thing. And the thing with pom-poms is you have to do multiple layers, otherwise you'll never actually get it done. Because it's all about building up a dense amount of these woolen strands, I suppose. They used up like the entire like yarn ball or whatever, and that they basically had done like half of one layer or something. It was ridiculously stupid. Eventually the teacher, you know, put an end to it. It was like, hey, like, I know you 2 are really enthused about this idea. I can't let you do this because we only have so many yarn ball supplies, and otherwise we're not going to have any other pom-poms. And, you know, to be fair, they were just like, okay, fair enough. But in concept, it would have been really cool, because then it would have probably made like an absolutely massive pom-pom ball in the end. But yeah, that's some sort of like artsy-craftsy stuff we did. What other things did we do? I can't really remember. I assume we must have had like a bakery section or something like that, but I don't recall. Did we have like a live band performing? Of course not. We know. We're primary school kids or something at the time. I'm really getting confused of which year I did this in. I feel like it was year 6, because that makes more sense, because we would have been older. That's when we were the oldest, but I don't really recall. I have so many random primary school stories still just stocked up in my brain. I don't know how this came to be. You know what? I thought about it, it was definitely year 6. Now I think about it, because it was I remember them making this giant pom-pom in the year 6 classroom. Because our year 6 classroom was very different from our other year classrooms. It was in a whole separate building for some reason. Like, well, not building, it was in a separate block, I suppose, from the rest of the school for some reason. Who knows why? It just was, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, what was I saying? I don't know. Customize, fruit tree, sell, deep sea creature. Oh, let's put some bell cricket down, I suppose. Yeah, where should we even put this bell cricket? That's a good question. I guess we can put it here. facing the other cricket. Look at that, hopping around the Christmas tree. I'm annoyingly gonna have to edit this video together because I actually had to stop recording because of that text, because I had to go check things rapidly. But it's all good. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, viewer. I can't go that low when I sing. I wish I could. What other things did we do? I don't know. I remember when I was like in year 5 in one of the older years. Yeah, actually the year just above us when they ran it. One of the things they did like a higher or lower deal or no deal. Not deal or no deal. Sorry. What's that Bruce Forsyth game with the cards called? Like the cards. It's not The Price is Right. What's it called? Is Bruce Forsyth still alive? Bruce Forsyth. No, he died 4 years ago. Whoops. Card show. Play Your Cards Right. That was it. It was Play Your Cards Right, which was basically just an RNG fest of a game. A Discord message, so much so I got it on my phone, which is something I had to reply to later. I'm sorry, friend. I'm in the middle of an Animal Crossing episode. Don't worry, I will reply to this. Yeah, it was Play Your Cards Right, which is basically like you have like they randomly put down like 5 cards in a row or whatever, and they flip over the first one, and they had to say, is the next card going to be higher or lower? So it's basically just a game of chance over and over and over again, which is, I wonder why it was so popular. But to be fair, I watched it a lot when I was younger, so really one might say. I remember them being like, Dear, come and play this game, and I was like, nah, I don't want to play this weird like luck-based chance game, so I didn't do that. They looked really disappointed, which was a shame, because I was actually decent friends with one of them. He ended up going to the same school, secondary school, as me. But I never really spoke to him, so don't know how that really came about. Anyway, yeah. What other things sort of happened? You know, I'm getting confused now with a Christmas fair. A Christmas school fair where we had some activities back in primary school. We actually had some really cool ones, which I remember. Let's see, chop wood, grow fruit tree, sell items. Chop wood, grow fruit tree, sell items. One of them was like moving stuff with chopsticks, I think. I don't even remember if I did that one or not. I felt like I shouldn't do that one because I had so much experience with chopsticks, so I didn't. So I'm pretty sure I didn't end up doing that. Because, you know, what they often do is like whoever scores the highest by the end of the night will win the prize. And then they'll give it out. Oh, so many memories just came flooding back to me, but I'll talk about the other ones first. Hold on, I immediately forgot what I was doing. Chopping wood, grow fruit tree. Chopping wood, grow fruit tree. Chopping wood, grow fruit tree. Okay. Wait, this isn't the right tool. Yeah, so it was like, you pick up like Smarties or something, Moo and chopsticks. You know, to be honest, I don't know why I didn't do it. If I could go back, turn back time, I would absolutely just, enter that and just absolutely demolish it now, just for fun. And then be like, you know, if I didn't want my prize, if I just wanted to do it for the satisfaction, and afterwards I'd just be like, oh yeah, just like discount me for when it comes to the prize, give it to someone else. I feel like it's an unfair advantage. That's probably how I do it now. if I had to go back in time, you know, if I was just like, instead of being a 5-year-old or whatever, if I was just, you know, the casual 24-year-old I am now. But there was this another really cool game, I suppose, which I really liked, which was basically, it was like this 6x4 grid, I think, of 24 like wooden pegs pointing upwards on a board, and they each had like a number from 1 to 24 of them, but except for they were like randomly like scattered around the place, like they weren't ordered in any sense of a word. And what you had to do is you were given like a stack of 24 cups, each with their own number on, and you had to basically put the cup on the correct peg as fast as possible. And I remember this because they had divisions. They had like a junior division and senior division. Like whoever got the fastest time in each division, like junior, senior, adult, or something like that, would win a prize. And I was like, the only person in the junior bracket to even enter. But I did win, to be fair, and I did demolish everyone else's times for some reason. I guess most other kids saw it and was like, this looks boring. And I saw it and I was like, this is awesome. Because I don't know, I have very strange sensibilities apparently. And it was awesome. I got like a tray of cupcakes or something. I can't really remember. So that's pretty cool. But no, the big one I always think back to was the fact that in our library, there were like video games. And you can probably see where this is going. They brought in some video games, and then you had to play them. and whoever got the high score by the end of like the fair, at the end of the fair time, would get the prize. And I remember the first year that this happened, because I don't think it was happened every single year. One of the girls in the year above me came, like, her dad or something came in bringing in an Xbox Connect, and there was this game. I can't remember. It was like a ninja game or something where you're in the center and you had to like move your body out to attack ninjas who are flying at you and that sort of thing. And I remember the prize for that one was like, was very, very enticing. It was an MP3 player. Like that was a big prize at the time. I remember everyone like saw it and was like, whoa, an MP3 player? No way, you can play like music on that thing and carry it around with you. I can hear like up to 20 songs, whole 20 songs or whatever. So I was like, video games, this is my time to shine. So I entered the competition and I set a score, you know, and I was like, you know, I feel like I can do better. So I entered it a few more times to do it, but like, you know, spread out. You know, I watched some other people play. I didn't want to just hog all the turns. And then I came up with the amazing strategy where I was like, wait a minute, there's no, like, you don't lose out anything if I just randomly like swing my arms. Like if I miss when I fling out my arms to hit a ninja, I don't lose anything. So I came up with strategy. It was a bold strategy. I walked out in front of it, the Connect, and I stood there, arms out, and I just flapped my wings like crazy. My wings, I don't have wings. I flapped my arms like real wings for crazy for 5 minutes, and I got the highest score. And it was an unbelievable strategy. Because basically I set a ridiculously high score compared to the others. And it was incredibly high where people were like, what? But I remember this other girl, the daughter of course, the person whose parent was running the store, was like, she was the one who played this game quite a few times before, and she was like, we can't let this score stand, I'm going to try and beat it. You know, she's one that's played it this entire time. She had this, you know, she didn't want to adopt my wing arm flapping strategy, probably because it made me look like a lunatic, but she had this very like precise way of like just holding her hands to the chest and like lashing out with her arms to try and get high score. But you know, in the end she couldn't beat it. I remember it came down to the wire, because it was basically like, oh, you know, the fair's like shutting up, and I don't remember why I was staying at the fair the entire day. Maybe one of my parents was helping out or something at a different store, so I was just kind of vibing. And it was just like the last attempt, like I didn't do like any more attempts after I set my high score, because I was like, you know, let's see how it goes. And then she was like, okay, I'm gonna have this final attempt. And then like her father was like, okay, I wanted to close up, but yeah, okay, you have one final attempt to see if you can beat the score. She could not beat it. The arm flapping strategy was victorious, and I won myself an MP3 player, which I probably never used. And I think I was like, I'm not gonna use this. Like, what am I gonna do with it? And my mum was like, I can give it to like one of my work colleagues. Maybe they'll like it, and apparently they did. So, you know, it ended up in good arms, I think. Good hands. But then it came back the next year, so I did again. And I remember the first time I played it, like, for some reason, I was a bit taller, I suppose, than last year. But the Kinect couldn't see, like, half my flapping wings, my flapping arm wings. So, my score, like, I died really quickly, and that was very humiliating. But then I figured out that if I just knelt down on the ground, I would, like, be in eye level with a Kinect. And then I just did my arm flapping strategy again, and I won it that year as well. It was stupid. I can't remember what the prize was for Fireball, and yeah, I think they changed it just to sweets or that sort of thing. But I remember that year as well, they also brought in Wii Play, which was their mistake, because this was a game I owned. I owned Wii and I owned Wii Play, and I played a heck of a lot of Wii Play. And one of the game that they were running on it was the Shooting Gallery one, and you know, I played that game a lot, so I basically knew exactly what to do. But what you had to do is you had to enter as two people, and it was meant to be one-on-one, and whoever got the highest score, that would be like the score which counted. And I remember I met up with one of my friends, and his like cousin or something was here vibing with him, and then like I know we played together. I can't remember why. I don't know where my friend went, to be perfectly honest, but we played, and he didn't know what was in store for him. He was like, oh, this will just be like a fun time. I haven't actually played much on Wii before. And I was like, I played this a lot, but you know, we'll do our best. And when I played it, and I just absolutely smoked him, like utterly demolished. I set a ridiculously high score, I remember, because this game, like, it was predetermined. I remember, like, everything came out in a set pattern. I played it so much, I knew what the patterns were. the only part which didn't come out in, like, a pattern was, like, the target shooting, I think. But there were some set patterns which could appear. So I got, like, a ridiculously high score, even with him trying to compete against me. and that was a ridiculously high score. I remember the kid whose father was running that store had like a best friend or whatever, and they saw me sat that score and they were like, what? And I remember they spent the rest of that fair working together to try and beat my score. So like one of them, they both enter, but then only one of them would actually like do any shooting or anything. The other one would just sit there. I remember they did that for so long that I went around the stores and I came back and to see how they were doing. We were like, we still haven't beaten your score, but we're getting closer, and it got closer and closer. And eventually, like within like the last like 30 minutes or something, I sat there and I watched them, and then they managed to do it and they beat my score, and I was like, nice. And they're like, are you going to set a high score now? And I'm like, nah, there's not really any point. I don't even like candy that much anyway. I just kind of did it because I like playing the game, and it was like cool for them to win. I remember their father also talking to me afterwards. I'd be like, hey, it was pretty cool that you didn't like try and upset the high score in any way. Have some extra lollipops. And I was like, thank you. And then, you know, I took them home and promptly never ate them because I didn't like sweets. But, you know, fun memories, I suppose, of that sort of thing. And that's just to show, if you're a gamer now, in this very one rare specific scenario, you can really show your gaming worth, I guess is what I'd say. But yeah, I think we'll round off this episode here then, why don't we? So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord and follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.